All right, so just a reminder, everyone, we've just started recording. So thanks for joining us on this session. I'm Ruani Kumara Singh and I'll be your host. So you've joined an event by Diversity Collective Lanka. So Diversity Collective is all about creating a more diverse environment within the Sri Lanka technology and BPM sector, so particularly around gender diversity and diversity in a broader sense as well. We do this mainly through four pillars: the school pillar, the corporate pillar, higher education, and entrepreneurship. So we have multiple programs across all of these pillars to enhance and to empower women into and to stay in technology. And this event in particular is the Tech Voices Spotlight series. And the intent behind this is to give a platform to women to evangelize, to talk about the great work that they do in technology. So today we have Sharanja Senthu Velautham, and we're really, really pleased to have her here today. So she's a senior software engineer at Cisco Labs. She's also currently pursuing an MSc in Big Data Analytics at Informatics. She completed a bachelor's engineering in software engineering at IIT, and she got a first class honor, so a very smart lady here today. So she has long-term goals of becoming a software architect, which I'm sure she will. You will see she has some phenomenal things to share with us today. And she also cares about contributing to the betterment of her workplace and society at large. She's self-motivated and disciplined, and she'll share some of those tips about how she stays motivated and how she creates that growth mindset. She also loves dancing and is a netball player, so she really is an all-rounder. So Sharanja, to kick us off, tell me what got you interested in IT, in tech?
Hi all. So the interest to got into IT when I was studying in my after when I was grade 11 years old. So after getting passed from the scholarship, my dad bought me a like one PC, so which is basically computer. So at that time I was more interested into the computers and all, and I loved maths those days. So I was looking into the place a job like how can I utilize computer and the maths together. So by talking with my cousins and my colleagues, I got to know there is something called software engineering, so which made to make my as a dream job when I was 11 years old. So I decided, okay, when I was become an elder, I want to become a software engineer. So that was make me to choose technical as my career.
Sorry, there I was just on mute. That's great. So, I mean, that got you interested, your dad buying you that computer. And then where did it go from there? So, what was your next step about actually sort of getting into tech after that?
So after getting this as my dream role, then I was trying to find a path. How can I become a software engineer after completing my school and all? So at that time, my colleagues and my seniors and my cousins, everyone was telling that if you do the combined mathematics with IT as a one basket, like I chose combined mathematics, physics, and IT. So they were like, if you are choosing this kind of information, you will get some IT knowledge while you are doing your advanced level. So yeah, that I was decided to do at my advanced level with IT. Then I joined a university with called IIT. So I started my university bachelor's degree there. So while choosing in the university, I was more finding, okay, what are the better universities I can go into the place and learn about it. Those days IIT is providing a 1-year internship period for us, so I thought which is really good for us because we know something, we are learning what to do in universities and our school as well. So we should know we had to go to the some environment where we had to work with a lot of people and get engaged with each another's and get familiar with that. So that I thought this 1-year internship which will be make more impact in my career. So because of that reason, I decided IIT and I chose an interview.
Great. And it's great that so many technology programs have internships. But how did you select what role, you'd go into? Because there's, so many different roles in tech.
So the roles, the desired I take, as I mentioned, I'm more interested in the laptop and the PC. So I wanted to always work on the computer. So I thought, okay, something doing the coding and all, it will be make more engaged with my laptop. So that is the main reason the reason become as a software developer. Then after that, while finding the software developer, when I joined to the university, I got to know there are so many paths. Like if you are becoming a developer, there are like UI, UX, and the QAs and the developers and the system designers. There are a lot of field on that. So for me, since I'm more interested in the coding, I thought of this will be a more better for my knowledge and for my path. So that's the main reason why did I chose software development.
And in that
And
internship,
during my, yeah.
go on, go on.
Yes, during my internship, basically what was happening is like I thought I'm more some interested in my coding, so I started my internship with my coding. But when I joined as an intern, I got to know like something is totally different. Like in my school days and the university days, I did something where my teachers and where my lecturers were giving, like I did an assignment and we did something and we moved to the next level. So when I moved to the internship in a proper industrial place, I got to know there are a lot of things which I have to learn, and I saw all the each and every roles in eventually. So, and I got interested in this software architect where my mentor was part there. So I was asking from him, like when I was as an intern, I asked from him, like, how can I become a software architect after my finishing my degree? So that was a question I asked from him. Then he was like, no one asked that question from me. So he was like giving me a guidance and everything, how can I become a next step in order to get that role. So that's the main thing. I thought, okay, this is something which is more interest for me, which I like. So that's the path which I chose, and still I'm traveling on it.
Yeah, great. And can you tell me a bit about, so, when you start an internship, you said, you have learnings that you have in your technology program at IIT, but what were some of the other things you learned beyond just the technical skill set?
So for me, being a technical skill to become a better person, not in only in the software development, to do in all the things, to become a better person, we should have the coding knowledge as well as the people and the leadership as well, because nowadays this entire world is going with the people more and more. So we should have a proper people skill as well. And I personally feel like for each and every person, we can learn something and we can get and improve ourselves as well. So which has made me to more into that. So during my internship and school times and all, I was more focusing on that. So I was doing so many extracurricular activities, like I was trying to get some leadership skills and everything during my university times as well as my school time as well. So I thought only having a coding which won't make me complete, so I should have some additional knowledge in order to become more better in my career.
That's great. You bring up a really good point about, collaborating with others, so many skills that you build, and internships are really great for that. So going back to a software engineering role, right? What skills do you need to be successful in a software engineering development role?
So to become a successful in the software engineer, for my knowledge, for something, we should have a proper basement and something is here. For example, uh, if you're building a house or something, you will be having a proper basement, right? Something like similar to that. In order to become a more successful developer, we should have a proper basement should be there, where we can have a proper background, like what we are doing is what's the most fundamental. So if you have a proper background, proper fundamentals, we can climb more steps. So that means like we can build a lot of floors and that, and we can achieve our rooftop. Basically, we can achieve to our building as well. So what I feel is basically a proper understanding about what you are doing it, and thinking it out of scope of you what we are doing it, it will be make you to more improve. And for my what I personally feel is whatever you do, you think other than you are mapping with whatever, other than you are mapping and thinking out of the box. So whatever, if you are just studying and without applying that, that's also won't be improve your knowledge. Otherwise it will be always in your book or in a theoretical manner, unless you try. And or getting failure is also not an issue. Get failure, learn from something from that, and improve it. So I personally believe those are the things will improve more for us.
So you pointed out, having those fundamentals, having that base, which is really, really key. So how does that feed into learning new skills? So, there's new technologies, new programming languages that come in. So if you want to, uh, say, be an expert in something new that's come in, how do you link, the concepts, the fundamentals to the new thing you're learning?
So what I normally do is when I'm learning the stuff or something, I'll try to map the whatever I'm doing. For example, I'm working in a organization like Cisco Labs, where we have the environment whenever we are coming up the new technology or something like that, where we can talk with our seniors or managers or superior, our lead, the entire colleagues, and we'll be taking up that and we'll check what is more ease for us, and we'll be checking into those information and we'll try to apply those things. But it's not possible for everyone to work on those kind of environment, so it may different. So unless if you are not getting a chance to work that kind of environment, but I personally will make your own path. If there is no path, make a path and try to achieve that, so automatically you will be getting a path in this kind of environment. So for those things, what I did was initially, so writing your own research paper and try to apply those things and see what you are doing it and try to apply that. And because of that experience, which made me to do it in my current organization as well. So whatever we tried it, because ultimately whenever someone is trying and failure, they know what they have already done it, so they have seen something. So I always tell that don't worry about what you fail, get from something, learn from something and apply it, try to go to the next step. So for me, I did that something, and my current place in Cisco Labs, they are giving a proper environment with us where we can try out new technology. So we are trying out and seeing it. And for other people who are not having that kind of environment, they can make their own path and see, and they can adapt it basically.
Nice. I think you gave a really good series of steps, right? Understanding the fundamentals and the concepts, and then, any new technology you want to learn becomes easier when you understand that, and then you have to apply in the real world. So if you're applying, you can. I really like what you said there. Find a way. You can do it, in the workplace that you have, if you're lucky, or else you find a way. And I think you said you wrote your own research papers, and then you implemented it on personal projects as well as at work. So those are really great pieces of advice, because often what happens is, if you don't have a way to implement at work, people feel stuck and it's like, I can't do it. So I think that's really, really great. I might also just ask the flip side. So what if you didn't really deeply understand the fundamentals and the concepts? Then what happens when you're learning new technologies?
So what I feel is whatever the new technologies that nowadays is coming to this technical stack, everything is based on the fundamentals we have. For example, nowadays like Java and the big data, everything is coming into the places. I mean, the big data, this machine learning, so many event streaming platform, everything is coming into the technical, because nowadays our entire world is growing up with the technological stack. So if you are learning something without the understanding about the fundamentals, when you are trying to map something, if there is any issue occurred or something, we don't know why that issue has been occurred, what has been happened. In order to understand, like even though if you get fail, in order to understand why did I got fail and what has been happened to overcome that issue, if you don't have a fundamentals, you won't be able to find a solution properly. It may something will be more difficult to find that thing. So that's why I always prefer fundamentals should be there whenever you are learning the new technologies like as well.
Okay, so you can't bypass that. You have to have your fundamentals, or else at some point you're going to get stuck and find it
Yes.
difficult. And you pointed out about, failing, and that's, I think, a lot of people might, try it once, try it twice and go, oh, I failed, I can't do it. How do you overcome what seems like a failure, but you keep trying and you get to a place where you succeed?
So it's basically that we have to make our mind where we can, even though don't scared about anything, just try it, because you ultimately what you're doing, whatever you got failure, it's something you are going to get benefit in the future. So don't be get afraid of whatever you are doing. So be happy and be calm and do the whatever things you will be doing. So because if you're thinking that you will be get failure in the first step, you're never going to succeed in your future. So because at some of the time everyone having the like, it's like ladder, sometimes we go upper and sometimes we go down. So there will be up and downs in our life. So unless if you're scared to get this failure to go to the top of the building, it will be like, for example, imagine if you want to hike the mountain, you will be seeing so many stones and so many struggles you will be facing. It seems like that in order to want to achieve in your career, these struggles will be there for you. So try to achieve those struggles and get it. If you are try to afraid, just try to overcome eventually, and one time you'll be more happiest person in this world where you got whatever you wanted.
Nice. I like that. There'll be, pebbles along the way. You just have to accept it and keep going, keep trying, keep practicing, and you get there in the end. Really, really good advice. So moving tracks a little bit. So we were talking about, more technical skill sets. And what about other skill sets? We spoke about, your personal development, your overall learning. Can you tell us a bit about, how you approach overall learning?
Yes, for the NT overall learning, as I mentioned earlier, only the development skill is not going to improve us to become a better person. So in this world, entire world is with the more and more people, we should have a people skill and the leadership skill in order to become more latter in our career. So what I personally feel is like, you have to, for example, when you're talking with someone or for example, we are working in the same project at some time. So for ultimately what we have to do is we have to make a system, we have to make a customer happy, and we have to make sure that we are giving the proper delivery in the excellence manner and making the project more successfully. For that, we may work with the different team members in our organization. For example, we'll be dealing with the QAs and the UI designers, PMs, business, or in the software industry, there are so many different stakeholders you will be facing in on. For example, if our QA put a bug or something like that, and if you're having some issues with them, if you're not able to talk with them and if not able to fix the things, we won't give a product successfully, and it will be making some impact for make our customer happy as well. So we should have a proper understanding and proper leadership, proper people skill to talk with each others and work. So what I feel is with these two skills and the coding skills, you can make more success.
Yeah, you're so right. So sometimes, in our technical courses, we focus on the technical skill set, which is really important. You need to understand the fundamentals. You need to know the technology stacks that you have to implement at work. However, there's a lot of about sort of working with other people, collaborating, because we work in cross-functional teams. And like you said, to deliver for your client, you need to be able to work closely with others. And those are key skills as well. Really good points. And with personal development, are there any books or any kind of tips you can give people to kind of hone your own personal development?
So for the personal development, what I normally recommend is like, as I mentioned, I always try to get some advices from us whenever I'm talking with you. When I'm trying to see what can I learn, I can learn from you, and I can apply to myself as well. So I always follow that culture within me. So which is I feel like which is more important for me. Other than that, I'm more just trying to read. I like to read books. So normally I'm reading this Robin Sharma's book and all, like the 5 a.m. Club, those kind of books. I normally tend to read those things and and try to improve. And other than that, in our organization in Cisco Life, they are normally doing some session like where you can improve the technical and where you can do some other extracurricular activities like how to improve your leadership management. Whatever we got to know something, we'll be having some technical session or some get together. So where others will be share their knowledge with us. So whenever someone is talking, having this kind of session also, whenever I see something, I'll try to join to this and get it from them as well. And parallel, I reading some books and try to improve to achieve my goals and the vision and mission in later.
Great. And so you spoke about, vision, mission, and having goals. So is that something you do only for work, personal? How do you go about, setting your goals?
So basically, the goals what I do is I know this is my achievement of this is what I have to become in future. So in order to do that, I have set up a small goals. For example, if you want to go to the rooftop, you will be going to the first floor, second floor, third floor. There will be like step by step. You can't unless is there any easiest way like lift or something, you can't go to the rooftop very like there are small steps where you have to achieve and you have to pass it and go. So what I normally do is to achieve my ultimate goal, I have set up the small visions and goals for my career. So which I am not only applying for career itself, I'm applying for my other personal goal as well. So I'm trying to parallelly manage with my career goals as well as the personal goals, so which will be make me more complete person.
Nice. It's great that you focus on both sides because, like you say, you're one person, right? So it all feeds into becoming a sort of wholesome person who works well with others in a company. And so switching tracks to, remote working. So we've, suddenly gone to remote working. So what are some, drawbacks that you see there or just changes that we've had to adjust to?
Yes, after this working from home is started, what I actually joined to our company when the working from home started. I mean, I was initially was super scared because the new environment which I'm going to face it, and like I don't know anyone else in when I'm starting my career. So I was like, okay, this is entirely new, because if you're going to the company, we'll be face each and everyone, so we know each other, so we'll be talking and we'll be get to know. Nowadays it's very limited environment, so we'll be normally like, for example, Ronnie, like if at an office we both work in a one project at once, then later part you move to the different project and I started to move to the different person. So then what will be happening is at office I will be starting to say, hi Ronnie, what you're doing, or we'll have a chit chat chats, we'll meet each other during the coffee time or lunchtime or tea time, whatever time we'll be meet each others and we'll be talking each others. But after this working from home, the working remotely started, the talking with each other people started to be reduced. So I was super scared when I started to join because I don't know anyone else. So I was worried like if I don't talk each other's, yeah, like it will be difficult me to improve my lead people skill as well, right? Because in order to more succeed, we should have a proper understanding with each and everyone. So I was super scared in the initially, and I was thinking, okay, if there is something, if you have where we can talk with each others and understand, like nowadays we can't go, I mean, like our initial days, like due to that COVID and all, we can't meet due to the pandemic. So I thought like something where you have the like video conference or something, it's there, it should be better. So I was initially feeling good that before I start my career. So that was the one thing I was thinking about it. And other thing which I faced it, like when we were in the office or something like that, like nowadays, like the way of the person is talking, their tone is totally different, but the way they wanted to tell is something different. Like we can't judge anyone the based on the tone. Their facial expression is different, but their tone is something like that. So we should see the emotions on and also before, because of that we should know about how that person is there, whoever we are working on it. And other difficulties which I thought is basically like when you are in the like when the office is started normally initially, if there is any meeting or something, we'll be going to the meeting on time before 5 minutes or 2 minutes, we'll be take some notebook or just go to the meeting rooms and be ready. So nowadays I was thinking how the meetings are going to happen and all those things. So those are the main things when I was thinking, okay, when the working from home remotely started, these are the major things gonna come. So luckily we tried to manage something and we are trying to adapt to that.
Yeah, you bring some really interesting points about, all these sort of eh, different cues that you have in communication. The visual. So if, people don't turn their cameras on, then it's hard to see, what their facial expressions are or their hand movements. There's so many facets to communication, and sometimes we miss those. So we really have to, make a concerted effort to connect with people while we're virtual. So can you tell us, some of the strategies that your team or you have used to overcome these? these
Yes.
points?
So, but as I mentioned, like I joined to the fundamental situation. So, like I was super scared. But what has been happening within our organizations and within our team, what we have normally done is like we have some virtual gathering. Like we will having this yoga sessions, and we'll be having like games even for Halloween and those kind of fun activities where we had it. So we got to know each other. For within the team, what we have done is we did within the team and within our organization as well. So within the team, we got to know more comfortable within the team members as well. For example, turning on the videos and doing some games and doing some acts and getting into that. So from that, we got to know within the team members and understood each and others. But when it comes to the in the organization, we are like sometimes we'll be working with this team, and future we may have to talk with different teams. So as for those kind of things, since there are so many people, something like me, whoever joined during this pandemic, for those people to make more comfortable within our Cisco organization, what they have done is they have did some virtual gatherings, like some fun activities where we can go and play some games. So we got to know each other. So to be honest, I have got to know so many people outside of my team as well, which is make me more comfortable. So when I go to office after this pandemic fully over, I don't want to be, I can be more friendly with them because like I know them each other. So I don't, the scaredness I have when I join, it has been entirely overcome because of this kind of activities and all. Other than that, what I normally do is what I personally feel is whatever the practice you followed during before the pandemic, we can follow the same thing. So which we are normally doing that as well. For example, whenever the meeting is started, we prepare for that meeting early, go early and try to get, so it will be easy for us to communicate with each others, and we can manage our time management also will be happening there. So we tend to follow whatever still following whatever the things we followed before the pandemic now as well. And this virtual gathering made us to more comfortable within the team and outside within our organization as well.
Great. Again, really good tips, and, I like how you in the beginning said, look, uh, when we were in the office, there might just be a lot of just casual chit chat that happens, and not even on the same team. But now, when we interact only on team-based meetings, then sometimes we don't have that opportunity to collaborate with others within the organization. Just I thought we lost you there, Sharanja. Okay, we're back. Yeah, so it's great to have these sort of use the virtual tools to connect people so that people are still connecting beyond just the transactional kind of work, and still getting to know each other, creating team bonds. And it can be done. It just needs a little bit more effort on the teams to do it. So I think you've given our audience some really good tips on how to do that. And I might also ask, so adjusting to times of change, whether it's remote working or to foster a mindset of continuous learning or personal development, it also takes a certain kind of mindset, right? I know we've spoken about, growth mindset. Can you tell us a little bit about growth mindset and what you do to foster that sort of mindset?
So in order to make the growth mindset of what I personally feel is first we should more comfortable with whatever we are doing it normally. So in order to, because like for example, if I'm working on something like that, and if I'm having some other issue with my family or something like that, so it won't make me more comfortable and make my mind properly think about what I'm doing it. So I always think that my work-life balance should be more comfortable and it will be really parallelly managed. So it will be making me to think and like give more attention on what I'm doing it. So I always make sure that my environment is properly managed for me, so which will be making me to think more and more and try to put some effort for my activities.
And even with, fostering a growth mindset, is it something that happens very quickly, or was that a journey for you?
It's something like in order to get that mindset up, it's not something where you can grow, like eventually get it. So, like you can quickly get it. You have to eventually go and step by step. For example, when you are thinking like something, you have to think, okay, if I do like this, what will be happening? So always, rather than going with path A, you can think path B as well. If I do path A, what can I do? If I do the path B, what is the pros and cons for me? What I will be getting it? So those kind of mindset of, if you make it and if you try to think about out of the box, and if you do something like, it will be, you will be eventually getting into it. For whenever someone asking for some question or problem, so if you always think about the solution, path A will be giving something like that, path B something like that, so which is more comfortable for you. So making those, ask the question between us, it may make something better for us as well. So which is eventually making me, and still I'm progressing on that.
Nice. Yeah, it's good that you highlighted that, it's something that happens progressively, because whether, in so many, things, sometimes we give up too early, right? And we think, oh, I can't do this, so it's not working. But if you sort of keep doing it, you practice it enough that it becomes part of you. So I think really good insight that it's a progress, it's a journey, not just something that, immediately you have. So now just a note for everybody, we are taking questions. So if you'd like to present any questions to Sharanja, you can go ahead and use the chat box to do so. And Natalie, if we're getting any questions on Facebook coming as well, let us know and we can take those questions as well. So if you feel bold, you can unmute and ask us, totally fine, or you can use the chat. Okay, so we've got some questions that have come through to me. What do I need to do to go from a software engineer role into a leadership role?
So to go to the leadership goals, as I mentioned, you have to improve your coding development and the development skill, as well as we should have our leadership skill as well, since the world is become more and more with people. So that is which is more important, which I feel is basically. And more than that, we should manage our parallel working life balance as well. So with our the proper environment, what we are doing is, and with these coding skills and your development skill, and with the plus leadership skill, which will be make me to go to the higher position, Rohini. So it will be supporting us eventually.
Great. And I was wondering, is it useful to get feedback from people around you as well for your growth? Oh, Sharon, sorry, I think I wasn't audible. So is it also, like there could be mentors and, coaches around you, good managers who can give you feedback. So I was wondering whether you should seek out feedback as well to figure out how you grow to your next stage.
Yes, so that's absolutely correct. And so, as I mentioned, you will be learning something from each and every person, something. So always try to get the feedbacks and try to adapt it, because whatever others people also, for example, if I'm doing something, my leadership or my team members will be able to give a more feedback for me whatever I'm doing. They will be able to guide me as well. So whatever the guidance, whatever we are getting it, if you try to follow that and if you take it from them, it will be also make our path very clear. So sometimes path won't be there for us. Then you make your own path, and whatever path is coming to your way. For example, getting the feedback is like path, like automatically you are getting a one path for you. So why should we stop that path? You're getting something, use it. So get that feedback and put it, and try to improve and become more better person by listening those feedback and try to adapt it. So you will be eventually become better and better by getting those feedbacks and adapting it.
Great. We have another question. How do I select a tech stack to dedicate myself to? I guess, there'd be different jobs, that require maybe Java or .NET. So how do you select a tech stack?
So that's basically selecting the tech stack, basically the way you like, is basically your passion, what you wanted to like. But what I personally feel is whatever the technologies that you try or you choose, the fundamental is very stable for you. Don't worry about the technologies that you are doing it. For example, you will be doing something, but you wanted to become that person because you like that. Sometimes if you're doing something which we don't like it, we won't give the full effort for that. If you're doing something which we like, which we love, that means we'll be giving us so many effort, like we won't get bored what we are doing, because you are loving and you are doing it, so you won't get bored of it. So whatever you feel more comfortable. For some people, doing the designing, doing the this colorful things make them more satisfied. For some people, just writing the codings or doing this, writing some terminal related one, they'll more happy. Whatever you love, whatever you like it, you do it. But everything, the fundamental is very same for us. So the fundamental is stable, and whatever you like and you love, always try to go with your passion and try to adapt and implement that. So don't worry about this role is something, is this role is something like that. Everything is same in software industry. Ultimately, what we are going to do is we are going to we are going to give the positive impact for our customers. So that's what we are going to do it. So in order to give the positive impact, every role is major important. So we can't stay without a QS, we can't do without UI UX. So everything is related together, so everything is equal there. So whatever you like, whatever you love, whatever you feel like this is more fashion for you, you choose it and do, because ultimately the fundamentals will be same for us.
Yeah, that's really great to tell people, just pick the thing you love and go with that. And can I also ask, have you in your career also gone, switched jobs where you had to switch tech stacks?
Yes, for when I was doing the intern, I was telling that I just know that there is a software development industry there. So during my when I was studying in my university in a second year, we did some Imagine Cup program where you have to use the .NET as a programming language. So at that time, I know .NET very well. So I thought I'm a good at I like .NET. So I don't know something like that. So when I joined to the as an intern, then I got to know there are so many things. I started to search about this .NET, Java, and all. So it was very new for me. Is I told, okay, there is something called Java as well. Why can't I try that as well? So that's the thing I thought in eventually. But in future, when I start after my graduation, started to work with a Java developer, but I didn't face any like lot of difficulties. Like fundamentals were same. The syntax are those kind of similar things will be there. For example, now I'm studying big data, but which is totally, I studied software engineering. So big data is something advanced for what we are doing. So what I feel is whatever you studied, if the fundamental is there, you can go to the different path if there is a proper time and you can manage it. Otherwise, whatever you like, do it. Because initially I thought I liked .NET. Then I thought, okay, Java is also pretty interest for me. Why can't I try it out? When I tried out, I become more interested. It's like personal experience. For some people, both are same. Some people, this is X is better than Y is better than X. So something like that, right? For me, this is, I like this one, so I'm doing it. So something like that you can make, if you're more happy whatever you are doing it, so it will be, because ultimately what we are doing is to live more happier life and to make succeed, right? So I feel that will be a most important thing.
Yeah, and I guess if you can work across tech stacks as well, that's valuable to companies who have maybe different clients who can position you to different projects. And so we have another question that's come up. How do I select whether I should be a front-end developer, full stack, or a back-end developer?
So full stack, front end and back end, what I do is, some people, as I mentioned, and initially, like some people only like what they wanted to do the UI design to, like, most colorful things or something like that. Some people always like to do like this backend programming with these APIs and all. Some people like, okay, I'm not sure, I'm like 50-50 or something like that. I'm interested in. So if you feel like if you are getting more satisfied while you are seeing colorful screen or whatever you feel comfortable, you select it. There is nothing better saying that front end is better, back end is better, full stack is better. Than there is nothing like that. Whatever ultimately you feel comfortable is gonna play the major role in our technical stack, because in our organization, and wherever we go, basically, like whatever we do is more satisfied, it's gonna impact for everyone. So basically it's up to your personal choice. Whatever you like it, you select.
Yeah. Again, I think really good advice, go with your passion and what you like and what you naturally have a tendency to, then work becomes easy. Okay. And now, this is actually a question from me. So you mentioned that, you started off as a software engineer, and now you're learning big data. So, it's a little bit of a shift. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So when I choose the big data, because I have some passion about doing this big data and event streaming platform. So I was thinking, like, why can't I try out that and adapt to my organization as well? I mean, try to give something for my things as well. So because of that reason, since I have some interested on this big data thing, I thought, and this is nowadays the technical is growing more and more. So nowadays, so many these big data things are happening. So that's the main reason why I chose this big data. And I feel is like whatever I learned in my bachelor's, there are some fundamentals, and we are applying on top of that and putting some polish on that. So it's still improving. And whatever I tried it, so sometime whenever we are taking something, I'm working in a comfortable environment in my organization in Cisco Labs, where you can like discuss with any technology stack, and we can see the ease of using the technology stack. So we are getting the freedom. If the technology stack is really good, we will be getting a freedom to talk with your seniors, and you'll be tried to see that as well. So whatever I learned, it's making me to more comfortable and try to practice as well. So I think is something is better than nothing. Whatever you wanted to do, just try it out and see. For that, you don't need to go do and masters, so bachelor's or something. Nowadays there are so many online platforms out there where you can try it out and learn by your own self and adapt it. We don't need to go to a university or something and do it. I now for do this advanced things or learn something which is new. So you can go to the online tutorials and try it out and practice it and improve it.
So on the big data side, do you do a lot of personal projects?
And not really personal, because I work in the environment where I can in my Cisco labs, like we kind of working with those kind of technical stacks as well. So like we are discussing on that and we are trying out. So I didn't do any personal development. But when I was my bachelor's degree, I was doing some machine learning. So at that time, like I was more interested. That's time we like during our final year project, we are not working with any environments. Like we are studying and doing. So at that time, I just wanted to try out something, what is happening there, what we are doing it. So at that time, what I did was like, because at that time I didn't start my career as well. After internship, I went to final year. So at that time, I just wanted to try out what I'm doing. I wanted to get more interest what I'm doing, because I got more passionate in those domain. So I wrote some research paper and published it and tried out my project and released it in my university as well, because I was more interested. So there is no path that time. So I tried to make my path and try to become more happy what I'm doing it. So which has made me happy at that time.
So I'm just going to repeat what you said there. So when there's no path, you made your own path. That is phenomenal. And I think that's something a lot of us can learn, from you. I think, when we hit a bottleneck, and in our careers, sometimes we do, right? We feel like, oh, we can't execute on the things that we want, or we can't learn. But sometimes you have to make that opportunity for yourself. And then that's where you can showcase your skills. And so, like, I mean, it looks like you've really taken this continuous learning approach, right? You continue to do it, and not only on one discipline, you kind of go across disciplines as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that? About, how you do that, continuous learning?
Yes, for the continuous learning, as I mentioned, every time nowadays the technology is growing and growing and growing. So if you learn something, next time like sometimes you found that okay, why can't I do like that? So next time they may have added some one feature for that, or something new technical stack which may can adapt to that and try to solve your problem which you have thought about as a problem like couple of months back or later. So what I personally feel is something you try to learn by your own self, and like read about something and get more knowledge on those things. And luckily in my organization as well, what we are doing is, if someone is not, if I identified, okay, something is new there for us, something is like they identified something, they tried out something, then they feel that this is more comfortable and they feel like they want, this is really useful to use for everyone. So at that time, what we are doing is in our Cisco labs, like we are giving a knowledge transferring session, some technical guidance or something like that. So within the organization and within the team as well, if someone is knowing about something, we are trying to share with others as well. So we are getting the knowledge from others and learning as well. And parallel, I'm trying to improve my knowledge by reading the articles, and like whatever I feel it, like I try to adapt those things and read more and more what I'm doing it. So basically practice will make you more perfect. So I'm trying to and practicing it.
Nice. And I like how you said, sometimes teaching other people will also help you solidify your skills and hone your skills. So really great, you're achieving both sides of it. You're learning and you're teaching other people. Great. So do we have any other questions from the audience? I think we've taken the questions that we had. Anyone else? Questions? I think we're good then. I think we've answered all of our questions. Well, then, Sharanja, I'd really like to thank you for this great session. I think you've shared some really great tips with our audience from your experience. So thank you for joining us. And thank you, our participants as well, for listening in. And I know we've got people on Facebook as well. It was great having you.
Thank you, Ravani, and thanks for giving me opportunity, and thank you for Cisco Labs as well to giving this opportunity and share my experience. And thank you for all the audience as well.
Oh, and I must thank Natalie as well in the background, helping us out with all the coordinating. Thanks, Natalie.
You're welcome. Well done. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Sharanja. That was really lovely. That was a great inspiration.